Toni Braxton is taking it easy after a short stay at the hospital. The singer's rep says she was admitted to a Las Vegas hospital on Monday night for chest pains. She's apparently now in, quote, good condition. The Grammy-winning singer has spoken publicly in the past about having a heart condition and hypertension.
Following the release of her 2005 album Libra, Toni Braxton faced significant issues with her then label, Blackground Records. The album's commercial performance suffered due to poor promotion and distribution problems, leading to frustrations that ultimately prompted her departure from the label. Seeking a fresh start, she signed with Atlantic Records, aiming to rebuild her brand and deliver new music under better circumstances. However, the lead-up to next project titled Pulse was filled with a mix of challenges and anticipation. The era marked her return to music after a tumultuous few years, both professionally and personally, showcasing her resilience and determination to reclaim her spot in the R&B landscape. After a 5-year hiatus, the album not only showcased her timeless voice, but also marked a pivotal chapter in her career. In this video, we'll dive deep into the lead-up to the album's release and explore why it was more than just a comeback. It was a statement. Love music. Dive deeper into the stories behind the hits and hidden gems and explore the eras that have defined some of your favorite artists. Subscribe now and never miss a beat. Hit that bell icon so you're always the first to know when I drop new content. Now back to the video. Toni's departure from Blackground Records was a result of mounting frustrations over the mishandling of her previous album Libra. Despite the project being a strong body of work, the album's commercial performance was hindered by lack of visibility and distribution issues. Many fans struggled to find the album in stores, and its lack of presence on the charts didn't match Braxton's star power. She openly expressed her disappointment with how the label treated the project, and it didn't help that the label's focus seemed to be shifting, with internal issues affecting its ability to support legacy artists. The creation and recording process for Pulse was a journey of reinvention and resilience, with Toni eager to craft an album that would blend her classic R&B sound with more contemporary influences. The vision for the era was to reflect her growth both as an artist and as a person. Following her health struggles and financial setbacks, she aimed to channel these experiences into music that felt deeply personal and relatable at the same time.
I think you can expect organic Toni. I think when you hear it, you'll know it's me immediately, but I'm trying to keep it current, trying to keep it 2010. I like fashion.
I think this album is a little more personal. Not to say that the other albums weren't. It's just that I'm at a phase in my life, especially with the health scare, that I feel like I have a new love for music and just recording and doing what I do. And I feel really happy still being here and maintaining. I have a couple favorite songs on this album. There's a song on the album that I love called Why Won't You Love Me? And it's a girl song, or a lover song, I should say, when you're sobbing. Like, oh, why won't you love me? I cook, I clean, I take care of you. You just won't love me. And of course, I love Hands Tied because it's sexy and romantic. So it's a few. What made me want to get back in the game is that I love recording so much. It's my favorite thing. I can't stop. I find myself singing even more than I sung 5 years ago, just humming around the house and thinking I would lose that gift would not be a good thing.
The title, Pulse, was inspired by a life-changing experience Toni had during cardiac rehab. After falling ill, she met an older woman who encouraged her not to be afraid and to keep living life to the fullest. The woman told Toni her touching story, which resonated deeply with the singer. She explained she had survived 4 heart attacks, but didn't let this stop her from enjoying her life and living in the moment.
Is that why you called the album Pulse?
I called it Pulse because when I was in cardiac rehab, I met this older lady. She said she was 50. Clearly, she was about 80. And she said,
sounds like a lot.
Exactly. No. She was wonderful, though. I mean, she had on high-heel shoes on the treadmill, like she had a fag. It's almost like that, And she said, what are you doing here? You're so young. You must have a heart thing. And she said she's had 4 heart attacks. And she just got back from Cabo with her 40-year-old boyfriend.
Wow.
And I can't be afraid to live. You got to live. And that one conversation was like a pulse, like a heartbeat, to help me get my love for life again, because I completely lost. I was depressed.
Longtime collaborator Harvey Mason Jr. was brought back in to craft a number of tracks for the project. Having worked with the singer for some time, His presence on the album would anchor the production style to Toni's signature style and sound. His style, which is known for its polished, emotive and versatile approach, seamlessly blended classic R&B elements with contemporary pop influences. His work often features lush arrangements, rich harmonies, and a focus on showcasing the artist's vocal strength. A number of additional producers were brought in, including D. Mile, Warren Oakfelder, DJ Frank E. and Lucas Secon, and these contributions would help to round out the album's overall sound. It was also initially reported that there would be features from Robin Thicke, Usher, Trey Songz and Claude Kelly, leading many fans to believe that the upcoming project would be a more classic R&B album and a return to form for the singer. The album, which had a target release date for 2009, hit its first roadblock after several songs recorded leaked online, creating some challenges for Toni and her team. As the leaks occurred during the final recording phase and lead up to the album's release, it forced the label to reassess the tracklist and eventually leading to some of the songs being reworked. It's likely that someone with access to the tracks, whether it was a person within Braxton's team or a third party, uploaded them to peer-to-peer sharing sites or file sharing platforms. These platforms, particularly in the mid-2000s, made it simple for leaks to go viral quickly. Online blogs and forums were central to spreading leaks. As soon as an unreleased song hit the web, fans on these platforms would share the track with others, allowing the leak to spread like wildfire. Even sites like YouTube, SoundCloud, and early forms of social media played a major role in making the leaked songs accessible to the wider public.
And with the new record, you experienced quite a few of the songs leaked, didn't they, before you were due to release it? I mean, how frustrating is that?
Very frustrating. I mean, I love industry. I love that you can get music instantaneously, immediately. I love that part. But the bad part about it, it can also be stolen that way too. So we picked 12 songs for the album, and all 12 got leaked. Every single song. I've never experienced that. So we did 4 or 5 songs over again, and the other songs we did remixes to them and changed them up so they have a different sound. But it was a bit challenging to do that as well.
The anticipation for Pulse was starting to build, and the leaks could have been driven by fans who were eager to hear the music before it was officially released. Naturally, the leaks were frustrating for Braxton and her team, but they also gave fans an early taste of the music. Despite this, she focused on refining the album's vision and creating a project that she felt reflected her artistic and personal journey. Despite some of the leaked tracks being well received by fans, Toni decided to let go of some of the previously recorded material that she felt didn't fully align with her vision. And during the reworking stage, she focused on creating a more cohesive sound. Choosing the final tracklist from the songs recorded was no easy task. Braxton had a mix of upbeat songs and ballads, but she wanted to ensure that Pulse was balanced, authentic, and true to her journey. Songs like Yesterday and Clockwork both represented her return to the music scene, capturing her resilience and desire for reinvention. On the other hand, songs like Hands Tied and Woman were ballads that tapped into Braxton's classic sound, showcasing her deep, soulful vocals. Some of the leaked tracks that fit the album's overall tone were still included, but with noticeable changes. For example, Looking at Me originally featured Sean Paul and had a different arrangement, but in the final version, his verse was removed and the production was reworked to better match the refined, cohesive sound of the album. Another song called The Wave, which was initially titled My Ring, also had reworked and additional vocals added before the album's release.
The single, Yesterday, one of my favorite songs. I heard the song and I fell in love with it, but it was from a guy's perspective, so I changed it up a bit and made it a girl's perspective. And it's, that relationship, that fun side of it when it's ending and it's over and that person's so yesterday, but that's okay. There's always tomorrow to look forward to.
And you did a remix of the song with Trey Songz. How did
Yeah.
that come about?
Trey and I are label mates, so when we did the remix of the song Yesterday, it came about because the president of the label knew I was a big fan of Trey's work, and he told me Trey was a fan of mine as well, so he gave the song to Trey, who loved it, and did a remix for Urban Field, and it came out.
In September 2009, Yesterday was released as the lead single from the project and marked Toni's comeback into the music spotlight. Considered as one of the standout tracks from the project, The song is an emotional ballad that deals with the pain of a past love. It's one of the tracks that helped define the mix of vulnerability and strength, perfectly aligning to the album's overall theme. Whilst the album version is a solo record, a remix was also recorded which contains an altered production arrangement and additional vocals from Trey Songz, whose contribution as a featured artist adds a conversational element to the record. The lyrics convey a sense of pain and frustration, but also liberation, as Toni is deciding to put the pain of a past love behind her, following his infidelity. The lyrics are simple yet deeply relatable, capturing the pain of loss in a raw, honest way. In the remix, one of the key highlights is the chemistry between the singers. Toni's voice is as commanding as ever, rich, smoky, and full of emotion, while Trey's smoother, almost playful tone contrasts beautifully, creating a juxtaposing dynamic. Their voices complement each other in a way that enhances the emotional pull of the song. Braxton's vocal control and delivery on this track are impeccable, using her lower register to add depth and warmth to the sadness in the lyrics, while Trey's smooth, higher notes add a layer of vulnerability and tenderness. The production is subtle and understated, allowing the vocals to take center stage. The track's slow and steady rhythm with a soft piano backdrop aligns with the song's somber mood. The minimalistic arrangement allows the listener to fully focus on the emotional weight of the lyrics, and the instrumental build-up is gradual, giving the vocals space to really shine. And while it doesn't carry the same radio-friendly, up-tempo energy as some of the album's other songs, Yesterday stands out for its raw emotional weight and the maturity of its themes. It's a strong reminder of Toni's gift for channeling vulnerability and heartbreak through both her voice and her lyrics. As with the songs, 2 versions of the video were also released, with both visuals following a minimalist, emotionally driven aesthetic that mirrors the song's themes. Set in dimly lit, intimate spaces, the visuals focus heavily on the emotional expressions. Close-up shots and soft lighting highlight her vulnerability as she reflects on a broken relationship. Her performance is the heart of the video, subtle, raw, and deeply expressive. Every glance and gesture underscores the pain woven into the lyrics. The remix version adds new scenes with Trey, giving the track a modern edge, though he and Toni never appear together on screen, suggesting their parts were filmed separately. Cameos from Brooke Hogan and NBA players Shannon Brown and Ron Artest round out the expanded visual narrative. Muted tones and sparse settings amplify the feeling of solitude, making the video a powerful visual extension of the song. The single was widely praised as both a standalone single and a highlight on Pulse, with critics applauding Toni's vocal delivery and the song's biting breakup lyrics. While some noted its resemblance to other ballads of the era, it was still celebrated for its passion, intensity, and powerful execution. Despite the critical reception, the single missed the Hot 100, likely due to the song struggling to find its place on contemporary radio. It did, however, find success on the R&B and hip-hop chart, reaching number 12. Hands Tied would serve as the follow-up single, which intended to showcase a different side to the album's sound. While Yesterday was all heartbreak and drama, Hands Tied leaned into something more sensual and sultry, something which has always been a signature in Toni's music. Lyrically, the song plays with the idea of seduction and control, or rather surrendering control. Toni sings about captivating someone without even having to touch them. It's classic Toni, understated but confident, sexy without being over the top. The production handled by Warren Oakfelder, and Harvey Mason Jr. was smooth and minimal, built around a slow, hypnotic beat that gave her voice all the space it needed. The video, directed by Billy Woodruff, leaned fully into the sensuality of the song. It featured Toni performing a seductive pole dance in front of an audience, adding a visual layer of confidence and empowerment to the track. But true to Toni's style, it was done tastefully, glamorous rather than explicit. The video had a lot of soft lighting, rich colours, and close-up shots that really captured her elegance and presence. Again, the single received generally positive reviews from critics. It reminded listeners of Toni's ability to create timeless slow jams rooted in sensuality and romance. It felt like a nod to some of her earlier hits, while still fitting within the more modern production of the Pulse era. The main talking point was her vocal performance, which was again a standout. The way she delivered the lyrics with restraint and control, but still managed to sound seductive and emotional. Some also praised the song's simplicity, stating that it didn't rely on heavy production or trends of the time, but instead letting Toni's voice do the work. However, despite the praise, Hands Tied wasn't a huge chart hit, but it did well on adult contemporary radio, a space where Toni had always maintained a loyal audience. The song was also embraced for its mature, sophisticated energy at a time when R&B was shifting towards younger, trend-driven sounds.
So speaking of Hands Tied, you've released that in the States and you've also released Make My Heart.
Yeah.
Why those two songs?
Well, we thought Make My Heart. Actually, I almost missed the song You Make My Heart because when I was recording the album, I got 100 songs with heart in it. My heart hurts, my heart bleeds, look at my heart, feel my heart. So when I saw this song, You Make My Heart, I was like, I can't listen to it. And I almost missed it because when I heard it, I fell in love with it immediately. And it was a nice dance track and I got to burn off like 500 calories. So it was great. So I love that song and I thought it was a great song because I had songs like You're Making Me High and Man Enough for Me, but not really a lot of dance songs on the record. So I thought this was appropriate as well.
To counter this sonic shift in R&B, Toni and her label decided to release Make My Heart on the same day as Hands Tied, allowing the singer to gain airtime on both pop and R&B stations, increasing promotional reach for the project. The single was easily the most energetic and unexpected track from Toni at the time. Produced by Lucas Secon, who was known for work with artists like the Pussycat Dolls and Christina Milian, hits with a fast-paced, almost frantic energy right from the start. The instrumental is built around a 1977 sample taken from Evelyn Champagne King's We're Going to a Party, adding a classic disco-funk undertone beneath the modern production. Sonically, this was a sharp left turn for Toni. She's known for slow-burning ballads, sensual mid-tempos, and rich emotional vocal performances, not necessarily high-energy dance floor-ready tracks. But Make My Heart flipped that expectation. The production is bold, loud, and busy with layered background vocals, claps, and rapid-fire ad-libs that keep the energy of the track high throughout. Lyrically, it's pure flirtation and excitement. It's about that feeling of being completely caught up in someone, heart racing, emotions high and losing all control. The track was a risky but a calculated one. Coming off of songs like Yesterday and Hands Tied, which were more in line with Toni's signature sound, it was a reminder that Toni wasn't afraid to experiment or step outside of her comfort zone. The visual, which was shot back-to-back with Hands Tied, leaned into this too, featuring fast-paced choreography and vibrant colours. Toni reflected this by showcasing a more youthful, fashion-forward look in a way that plays up the song's vigorous energy. The vivid display has an almost editorial aesthetic to it. There's bright lighting, bold colours and quick cuts, almost reminiscent of a high-fashion photo shoot or a commercial for a luxury brand, making it sleek but playful. However, one of the biggest talking points was Toni's look. She was styled in bold, youthful outfits, including a 70s-inspired mini dress and a sheer bodysuit, and her signature short hair was super sleek, giving her a sharp, modern edge. Performance-wise, Toni is fully in her element, dancing, posing, and commanding the camera with a sense of fun that we didn't always get to see from her ballad-heavy image. There are scenes of her surrounded by dancers, giving light choreography moments, not overly complex moves, but just enough attitude and charisma to match the song's pace. The visual is a nod to the 70s and 80s with its ballroom-style setting, choreography, and fashion looks. There's this fun balance where Toni stays the cool, glamorous centerpiece, and the dancers around her create a carefree, party-like atmosphere. For many, this single felt like a reintroduction, a reinvention. Often known as a ballad queen, this single showcased an artist who could tap into fun, energetic visuals without losing her sophistication. And in the story of Pulse, Make My Heart feels like a moment of release, like after the heartbreak, after the reflection. Here's a song that lets Toni just live. It's playful escapism wrapped in sharp production, and proof that even an artist known for heartbreak anthems can still light up a dance floor when she wants to. The single sparked mixed reactions from critics and fans, mostly because it was such a departure from what people typically expected. On one hand, a lot of listeners appreciated that it showed a more playful side of her artistry. Critics noted that the track brought an energy and tempo that was rare in her discography. It was lively and flashy, a clear contrast to her signature slow-burning ballads. Sonically, some praised the song's production for leaning into that late 2000 club-ready sound. The horns, the chopped-up vocal samples, and the heavy percussion felt in line with what artists like Kelly Rowland or Sierra were experimenting with in their pop R&B hybrids. However, there was also a camp of critics and fans who felt the song didn't fully play to Toni's strengths as a vocalist. Some felt the production overpowered her more subtle, rich vocal tone, making the song feel a little generic. That said, others defended the song's boldness, arguing that Toni deserved the space to experiment and show versatility, especially since Pulse was framed as a comeback record. In the end, Make My Heart was one of those singles that divided opinion, but whether you loved it or not, it definitely stood out as one of the most unexpected singles from the era. It proved that even after industry setbacks, Toni wasn't afraid to take risks and have fun with her sound.
This album to me, it means a lot because it's the first album I've put out since I was ill, and I never thought I would be able to record again. So for me, this is like a big, huge deal. Just being able to sing behind a mic again and sing for 5-10 minutes, whatever I have to do to perform is the best feeling. So I have this new love of life again, love of being a performer all over again. So I feel like I'm starting my career again, getting a second chance. It's great. I think I knew it was time when I think you get a little itch. I got an itch for it, like, ugh, I'm a little anxious here. It's time for me to put a record out. So I knew it was time. I think for a lot of performers, we sing about issues that go on in our lives. We narrate our stories through our voice. Some things have nothing to do with what you're going through. Like, although I am happy today, it's a good day. I'm happy today. Songs like You Make My Heart, where I'm happy, I'm dancing, I'm feeling good. I'm on the cardio, I'm on the spinning, I'm on the cycle, I'm losing 1,000 calories that day. Super happy. So it's things like that too. But usually it's about issues that you've gone through.
When the album released, it was met with mostly positive reviews, with many critics viewing it as a strong comeback. The album was praised for staying true to her signature style while blending modern production. Much of the praise centered around her vocal performance, even with the mix of old-school ballads and up-tempo pop tracks, with her voice remaining the star of the show. Reviewers highlighted the album's ability to capture different stages of love and heartbreak, with a sense of honesty and conviction running throughout. Some felt it was a return to form, balancing classic R&B balladry with fresh, radio-friendly sounds. However, not everyone was sold on this new direction. Some critics thought the album's attempts to lean into more current trends didn't always land well, especially when the dance tracks were placed alongside her slower, more emotional songs, affecting the overall flow and cohesive feel of the project. A few reviewers also felt the material didn't push any sonic or lyrical boundaries, or offer any standout hits compared to her earlier records. Still, Pulse was seen as a solid addition to Toni's catalogue and acted as a reminder of her vocal power and ability to deliver emotional, timeless music. Despite all 3 singles struggling to hit the Hot 100, the album debuted at number 9 on the Billboard 200, selling 54,000 copies in its first week. This made Pulse Toni's 5th top 10 album in the US. Outside of the States, the album saw moderate success, particularly in parts of Europe, the UK and Australia. This chart performance was largely because of Toni's legacy and loyal fan base, and even though the singles didn't make a huge impact on the charts, Toni's name still carried a lot of weight, particularly in the R&B world. Pulse was her first studio album in 5 years, and fans were eager to support her return after her health struggles and time away from the spotlight. There was also a sense of nostalgia at play. By 2010, Toni was already considered an icon of 90s R&B, and that generation of listeners was still invested in full album releases and not just singles. At the same time, Pulse was released during a transitional moment in the music industry. Singles were starting to dominate charts thanks to digital downloads, and streaming was on the horizon. And while the singles struggled to compete with the new wave of pop and dance heavy radio hits, Toni's core audience showed up for the album itself. Pulse remains an integral part of Toni's discography as it encapsulates a pivotal moment in her career. It shows her vocal dexterity and emotional depth, whilst bridging the gap between classic R&B and contemporary pop. It's an album that blends personal reflection with universal themes of love, loss, and growth, making it one that resonates with listeners on a deeper, emotional level. Despite its commercial performance, The album remains beloved by fans for its authenticity, boldness, and the heart Toni put into it.
Returning to music is a little scary sometimes because, just I hadn't exercised that muscle in a while, but once I got out there and started performing, it just came right. It's like riding a bike. You get back on the bike and you go again. There was a few challenges involved. Getting my heart healthy to jump and dance and just pump out those notes, but it's the best thing. I'm in great health, and I'm just looking forward to doing my thing again.